The large iron gates of Jian Mansion stood tall before Kim Tae-hung, his hand tightened around the shaft of his worn-out backpack as he looked up at the house hidden behind them. It was not a house, really. It was closer to a place. Endless white walls, wide glass window, and a garden that looked like something out of a movie. Tehang parted slightly as he whispered to himself. Tehang, oh wow, this is really where he lived? The guard at the gates glanced at him with a raised brow. Guard, you are here for the babysitter interview? Yes, sir. Came I was told to be here at 4 p.m. The guard made a quick call before the gate slowly opened. Tehung's heart raced. He had been nervous all morning, but standing here now, about to meet the billionaire CEO, Jung-Kook, made his palms sweat. He needs this job. His younger sister Jisoo school fees were due. The little memory he made from part-time tutoring was not enough. This babysitting job was his chance, even if it meant working for some as Jungkook. Inside, a housekeeper guided him through the massive hallway. Everything was quiet, spotless, and polished. The sound of his shoes against the floor echoed softly. Finally, the housekeeper stopped before tall wooden door. Housekeeper, Mr. Jian is waiting for you inside. Taehyung bowed slightly, whispered his thanks. When the door opened, his breath caught. There he was. Jian Jungkook sat beside a cell-black desk in his office. His posture was perfect. His dark suit kept his expression unbearable. He barely glanced up from the file in front of him. Jungkook, sit. His voice was deep, calm, but it carried an authority that made Taehyung immediately obey. Jungkook, name. Taehyung, Kim Taehyung, sir. Jungkook, yes. Jungkook, 21, sir. I'm a student at Seoul University. Finally, Jungkook looked up. His eyes were sharp, oversharp, and colder than Taehyung expected. It felt like Jungkook was reading every secret inside him. Jungkook, why do you want this job? Taehyung solo. He had practiced an answer on the bus right here, but now, under Jungkook's gaze, his mind blank. Still, he spoke honestly. Taehyung, because I need it, sir. My family, we are struggling a bit, and I am good with children. I think I can take care of your son. A faint crash appeared between Jungkook. Most of the people want this job for the money. You say you want it because you are good with children. That's not an answer. Tell me why. Why I should trust you with my son. Taehyung throat tightened, but something inside pushed him To be honest, not race. Because I won't treat him like a duty. I'll treat him like a person, and I'll protect him as if he were my own little brother. The room went quiet. Jungkook leaned back slightly as his chair still unbearable. At that moment, the office door cracked open. A small boy peeked inside, dark hair, wide eyes. Boy, Appa, Jungkook gazed soft and just slightly Jungkook Bong. Come here. The boy ran into the room straight to Jungkook's side. Jungkook lifted him gently onto his, smoothing his hair back. Taehoong's heart melted at the sight. For a man so cold, Jungkook's touch with the boy was tender. Bong, oh, who is he? Jungkook, he might be your new babysitter. Bong eyed little up. He slid out Jungkook and walked up to Taehoong, staring at him. Bong, oh, hi, I'm Bong. Taehoong smiled softly. Hi, Bong, I'm Taehoong. Nice to meet you. Without hesitation, Bong grabbed Taehoong's hand. Bong, can you play with me? Taehoong laughed gently. Of course. Taehoong, of course, I love. Jungkook observed slightly his expression unbearable again, but something shifted in his eyes as he saw Bong holding Taehoong's head without fear. Later, after Bong left with housekeeper, Jungkook spoke again. Jungkook, he likes you. That is rare. Taehoong, he is a sweet kid. Jungkook, you may start tomorrow, but remember one thing, his eyes narrowed. This is only a job, nothing more. Do not mistake kindness or for formalities. Taehoong bowed his head. Taehoong, I understood, sir. But as he walked out of the office, his heart was still beating fast. Not just from nervous, but from something else he couldn't name. That evening, Taehoong sat on the floor of his small apartment, helping Jisoo with her homework. Jisoo, so, did you get the job? Taehoong smiled sadly. Yes, I start tomorrow. Jisoo clapping her head happily. Jisoo, that's amazing, Oppa. Now you don't have to worry about the school fees, right? Yes, for now on. She leaned against him. Jisoo, you work too hard. The top of her head softly. I'll always work hard for you. The next day, Taehoong returned to the mansion. Bong glittered with excitement, tugged on his sleeve completely. Bong, Taehoong young, come play. Taehoong laughing. Taehoong, all right, but only after you finish your snacks. Bong pouted, but Taehoong gently guided him to the table. Jungkook, who had just entered the room, watching the scene quietly. For the first time in a long while, there was laughter in his house, and thought he would never admit it. Jeon Jungkook found himself curious about the boy who made it happen. The soft sound of gun laughter filled the living room. He was sitting cross-legged on the carpet, his little boy toy special all around him. Taehoong sat beside him, gently moving a plastic T-Rex with Taehoong is hungry. Who will he eat? Wong, no, he's only eat fish today. He's on a diet. Tahang raising his eyebrow. Tahang, a dinosaur on a diet? That's new. From the hallway, Jungkook leaned against the wall, unseen. His hands were tucked into his pockets, expression blank, but his ear caught every laugh, every playful word. The sound was unfamiliar in his house, too light to alive. Later that evening, after Pugan had been tucked into bed, they lingered in the living room, gathering the dwarfs. The silence felt heavier without Pugan laughter. A deep voice broke the quiet. Jungkook, he doesn't usually laugh like that. Jungkook stood near the doorway, his black tie loosened after a long day at the office. He's a very bright kid. He just need someone to listen to him. Jungkook eyes narrowed slightly. Jungkook, are you saying I don't listen to my son? Then chest tightened. He quickly shook his head. No, sir. I didn't mean it that way. I only mean sometimes children just want someone who can sit with them at their level. That's all. For a long moment, Jungkook's gaze didn't wave. Tang felt small under it, but then Jungkook looked awake, exhaling softly. Jungkook, that's all he said before leaving the room. Tang let out a breath. He didn't realize he had been holding. The next day, Mugan pulled Tang into the backyard. Mugan, Hyung, let's play scorer. Papa brought me a ball, but he never played. Tang had as a little at the poor board. Still, he smiled and picked the ball gently towards him. Tang, all right, but don't cry if I win. Mugan laughing, I'm faster than you. They play until Bong was breathless with laughter, his cheeks red. Jungkook came home earlier than usual that evening, and when he walked past the glass door, he frozen. Through the window, he saw his son running freely across the grass. They hung chasing him off, both of them smiling. Something tugged at Jungkook's chest, something he hadn't felt in years. That night, Jin and Namjoon visited. They had always been Jungkook's closest friend, the only ones who dared teach him. Jin sipping. You know, your house feels different these days. Namjoon, it's because of that babysitter, isn't it? That's his name again. Jungkook, what his name again? Jungkook, he's just doing his job. Jin is marking, just his job? You sound defensive already. Jungkook glared at him, but Jin only laughed. Namjoon, oh, we are not saying anything bad. It just Bong looks happier, and honestly, so do you? Jungkook stayed quiet, sipping his drink. but deep inside there was something he didn't want to admit. Meanwhile, at his small apartment, it's good. Bong is wonderful. He is so full of energy. Jisoo and the boss, pause tapping his pen. He is strict, cold, but I think he loves his son very much. He just doesn't show it easily. Jisoo titled her head. Jisoo, do you like him? Choked slightly on his water. Yeah, Jisoo, don't. Don't say things like that. He is my boss. But when he returned to his notes, his mind kept wandering back to image of Jungkook washing quietly from the hallway. The next week, Bong caught a slight cold. He lay in bed, sniffing, refusing to eat. Then sat by his side, wiping his forehead gently. Then Bong, just a little soup, okay? You all feel better. Bong shook his head weakly. Bong, not hungry. Then lied softly. Just then. Jungkook entered looking worried but hiding it his usual expression. Jungkook, how is it he? Just a mild fever. He need rest. Jungkook stood by the bed. His hand held awkwardly before resting on his son's small shoulder. Jungkook, Bong, listen to the eat a little. Bong eyes open slightly. Bong, only if you feed me. Then look at Jungkook hesitantly. Jungkook gave a slight nod. So Taehyung carefully spooned soup into Bong's mouth. Him gently. Jungkook stood there watching the scenes quietly, his chest tightening at the warmth between them. For the first time, Jungkook felt like an outsider in his own home. Later that night, as Taehyung was packing his bag to leave, Jungkook stopped him at the door. Jungkook, you handle him very well today. It's nothing. I just care about him. Jungkook studied him for a long moment before speaking softly. Jungkook, thank you. The word was so quiet. Taehyung almost didn't hear it. His eyes wandered, but before he could respond, Jungkook had already turned away. They passed. Bong recovered quickly, and his attachment to Taehyung only grew stronger. He followed him everywhere, tugging his sleeves, asking him to play, to read, to singing. One evening, after Bong had fallen asleep, Taehyung lingered by the window, gazing out at the city lights. Jungkook entered the room slightly, standing beside him. For a long time, neither spoke. The silence wasn't heavy; it was almost peaceful. Finally, Jungkook broke it. Jungkook, why are you working so many jobs while studying? Taehyung clinked surprise. How did you know? Jungkook, I asked your university, your tutor, you work at a cafe, and now here. You must be exhausted. Taehyung looked down at his hand. Taehyung, I don't have a choice. My sister needs Me, I promised to take care of her. For the first time, Jungkook's eyes softened openly. Jungkook, you are strong. Taehyung turned to him, caught off guard by the rare warmth in his voice. His lips cut into a small smile. Taehyung, not strong. Just try my best. Something unspoken lingered in the air between them. Pringle the unfamiliar. That night, as Taehyung left the mansion, Jungkook stood by the window, watching him walk down the doorway for years. Jungkook had lived behind wall he built himself, but now with every laugh Bong shared, with every smile Taehyung gave, those walls had begun to crack. And deep inside, he wasn't sure if he was ready for what might slip thought. City light twinkle outside the tall glass window. Jungkook reflection stared back at him, but his eyes were focused on walking down the doorway. His face over his shoulders had danced slightly against the evening bird. Jungkook pressed his lips together. For years, his mansion had been quite a place of work and silence. Now, laughter echoed in the halls, warmth in the air, and it was all because of them. For the first time in a long while, Jungkook wondered if silence had really been what he wanted. The next morning, Bong brushed into the dining room, his hair messy, his eyes sprinkling. Bong, Appa, is Taehyung coming today? Jungkook sat down, his newspaper glancing at his son. Jungkook, he always comes, doesn't he? Bong grinned. Good, then he can be build a dinosaur castle. Jungkook found himself smile faintly, thought he quickly hid it behind his coffee cup. When Taehyung arrived, Bong ran straight into his arms. Bong, you are here? Taehyung laughed softly. Of course, I promise. I come. Jungkook stood at the doorway watching the easy way Bong clung to Taehyung, his heart not out of jealousy, out of something deeper, something he couldn't quite name it. Later that day, while Bong napped, Taehyung sat at the piano in the corner of living room. His finger brushed the key lightly hesitant before he began to play a soft melody. Jungkook entered quietly stepping when he saw him. Jungkook, you play. Then stared at his finger frozen. Then, just a little. I'm not very good. Jungkook walked closer, his gaze fixed on the piano. Jungkook, that song, it's calming. Then he smiled faintly, returning to key. Then it's one of my mother used to him. Jungkook, oh, she was right. Their eyes met briefly, and Taehyung felt a flutter in his chest. He didn't understand. The day blurred into weeks. Taehyung's presence became a routine. His laughter with Bong, his gently care, his quiet warmth that even the Saw staff noticed. One evening after dinner, Bong tugged at Jungkook's sleeve. Bong, Appa, come read with us. Hyung's reading me a story. Jungkook hesitated, then followed. He sat at the edge of bed as Taehyung held open a picture book. Bong leaned against Taehyung, smiling sleepily as the words filled the room. When Taehyung closed the book, Bong whispered, Appa, promise you won't let Hyung leave. Jungkook's throat tightened. He glanced at Taehyung, whose eyes widened slightly. Jungkook softly, I promise. Bong smiled and drifted to sleep. The room fell into silence, only the sound of breathing between them. Taehyung whispering, he really love you. Jungkook quietly, I'm not sure I deserve it. Taehyung turned to him, his voice gentle but firm. Taehyung, you do. He looked at you like you are his whole world. For the first time, Jungkook didn't look away. His eyes held Taehyung raw and one weekend afternoon, Jin and Namjoon visit again. The four of them sat in the garden while Bong played nearby. Jin teasing Jungkook. You look different these days, softer. Namjoon is smiling knowingly. It's Taehyung, isn't it? Jungkook showed them a warning glare, but Taehyung laughed nervously, shaking his head. Taehyung, don't tease him. He all for me. Jungkook firmly, I won't. Everyone looked at him in surprise, including Taehyung. Jungkook cleared his throat, turning his gaze away. Jin grinned. Well, that what say everything. Taehyung's cheeks warmed, but he stayed quiet. His heart, however, refused to. That evening, Taehyung lingered in the living room after Bong went to bed. Jungkook entered, losing his tie. The silence stretched before Jungkook finally spoke. Jungkook, you will change this house. Taehyung blinked. Huh? Unsure what he meant. Jungkook, before you came, it was just wall and silence. Now there is laughter. He paused, struggling for word. Even I feel different. Taehyung breathed cursed. Taehyung, you are not as cold as you think. Jungkook, see, you just need someone to remind you. Jungkook stepped closer, his gaze steady. Jungkook, and that someone is you. Taehyung heard, but he didn't look away. Taehyung, if you all let me. The air between them grew heavy, filled with unspoken words. The moment broke when sleepy voice called from upstairs. Bong Hyung. Taehyung quickly went to him, tucking him back into bed. Jungkook followed quickly, standing at the doorway, watching the way Taehyung smoothed the blanket and whispered softly until eyes closed again. Jungkook chased edge with something he could no longer deny. Day later, the invisible happened. Taehyung received another job offer on that promised better pay. He hesitated, torn between responsibility and the bond he had built here. That night he sat in garden, lost in thought. Jungkook approached, his voice low. Jungkook, you are thinking of leaving? Taehyung looked up. Taehyung, I don't know. I need the money for Jisoo, but Bong. His voice broke slightly. Jungkook sat beside him, the distance between them smaller than ever. Jungkook, don't go. Taehyung asked for him. Jungkook, I can pay you more. That's not the point. The point is you matter here to Bong, to me. Taehyung chest tightened. Taehyung, you don't need me, Jungkook. See, you are strong on your own. Jungkook shook his head. No, I've been alone for too long. I don't want to be anymore. The words sang in the air. Taehyung's heart raced, but his voice was steady. Taehyung, then don't be. That night, Jungkook walked Taehyung to the gate as always, but this time he stopped him. Jungkook softly, Taehyung, Taehyung, yes. Jungkook, after a pause, I care you more than I thought I could. Taehyung breathed fast, his eyes searching Jungkook's face, finding sincerity in the usually expression. Taehyung quietly, I care for you too. For a long moment, neither word. Then Jungkook reached out, taking Taehyung's hand gently. It wasn't grand or dramatic, just a quiet promise. Week passed, and the change in the mansion was Bong was happier than ever. Jungkook's coldness had softened into quiet warmth, and Taehyung no longer felt like just a babysitter. He felt like part of a family. One evening, they sat together in the garden, Jungkook, Taehyung, and Bong. The little boy leaned against them both, his small hand clutching their. Bong, Appa, Hyung, can we always stay like this? Jungkook and Taehyung exchanged a glance. Jungkook's eyes softened as he bent down, pressing to Bong's hair. Jungkook, yes, always. Taehyung's smile trembled. His heart full. For the first time, none of them felt alone. The garden was quiet now, the soft night birds brushing against the flower. Bong had fallen asleep earlier, leaving Taehyung and Jungkook sitting side by side on the bench. The boy's last word still lingered in the air. Appa, Hyung, can we stay like this? Jungkook promised, yes, always, still ego in Taehyung's heart. For a long time, neither spoke. The kicker filled the silence. And the city lights seemed faintly beyond the walls. Finally, Jungkook turned towards Taehyung. His voice was quiet but steady. Jungkook, Taehyung? Taehyung looking up. Yes. Jungkook gazed soft and thought his jaw was tight with nervous. Jungkook always spends years keeping people away. I thought if I stay cold, no one could hurt me. But then you came, and suddenly my house, my son, even my own heart, they changed. Taehyung breathed, cast his finger curling in his. Jungkook was low, honest. I don't want to fight it anymore. I love you, Taehyung. The words hang in the air like a fragile secret. Taehyung's eyes wandered, his chest tightened painfully and beautifully all at once. Taehyung softly, oh, Jungkook, Jungkook, you don't have to say it back, but I need you to know. Taehyung swallowed hard, his heart pounding so loudly he was sure Jungkook could hear it. Slowly, he reached out, his hand trembling slightly, and rested it over Jungkook. Jungkook, I love you too. Jungkook frozen. He usually sharp eyes softened completely. As if the word melted the last of his words. Without a word, he leaned closer, hesitated at first, testing like a questions. The young eyes fluttered shut. His hand tightened over Jungkook, warm and tender, carrying all the unspoken promise they had dared to voice before. When they finally pulled back, both were breathless, hearts racing. Taeyang smiled slyly. That was our first, Jungkook whispering. A beginning, he leaned in again, capturing Taeyang one more. This time with more need. Taeyang's hand slid up to Jungkook, feeling the heartbeat bend. His Jungkook captured his face gently, him as thought he was something precious. In the moment was perfect until a small voice called out, "Bong, Appa, Hyung." They broken apart instantly, face flushed, turning to, towards the doorway. Bong rubbed his sleepy eyes, holding his toy dinosaur. Bong, why are you outside? It's cold. Taeyang quickly stood, his face burning. Taeyang, we are just talking, Bong. Let's get you back to bed. Bong nodded, grabbed Taeyang's hand and tugged him inside. Jungkook followed, his lips still, his chest warm with something new. Later that night, dinner had ended quickly. Bong had fallen asleep almost as soon as he had touched the pillow. The house was calm again, thought Taeyang had still hadn't settled from there in the garden. He packed his bag, ready to leave, but when he reached the hallway, Bong's small finger appeared, clutching his blanket. Bong, don't go. Taeyang curled down, smoothing Bong's hair. Taeyang, I'll come back tomorrow, Bong. Sleep well, okay? Bong into a pout. Bong, stay tonight, please. Just this once. Taeyang hesitated, gazing up at Jungkook, who had just walked over. Jungkook's expression was unreadable, but then he gave a small nod. Jungkook, stay. Something inside Taeyang softened. He smiled at and lifted him into his arms. Dinner dishes were clear. The light dimmed. The house grew quieter with only the soft sound of the night. Taeyang walked to the guest room, but Jungkook stopped him gently with a hand on his waist. Jungkook softly came with me. Confused but trusting, Taeyang followed him to Jungkook's study. The room was in warm lamplighting. Jungkook closed the door behind them, turning to face him. Jungkook, I don't want to waste more time hiding what I feel. Before Taeyang could respond, Jungkook stepped closer, pressing a strand of hair from his forehead, then leaned on him again. This time there was no hesitation. With an urgency, with longing that had been building for weeks, Taeyang melted into him, his arms looping around Jungkook's neck. Jungkook's hand held him carefully like he was, but at the same time, everything he had ever wanted sweet and desperate all at once. Tehang let out a soft laugh against his flush. Tehang whispering, you are different when you are not pretending to be cold. Jungkook his forehead to Tehang, only with you. They again and again, each one slower, filled with warmth. The study became their little world. Just then they whispered their soft laughter. Jungkook pulled Taehyung, wrapped him in his arms, and Taehyung rested his head against his, hearing the steady heartbeat. The night stretched on with quiet affection, hands clapped, exchanged confession, whispered in the off house. Next morning, sunlight lifted through the curtains, the hands stretched still doorways, only to realize Bong was standing by the door, blinking curiously. Bong, Young. Taehyung quickly sat up, rubbing the back of his neck. Taehyung, Bong, good morning. Bong titled his head, his sharp little eyes catching something on Taehyung's collar. Bong pointing, Young, what's that mark? Did a mosquito bite you? Taehyung's face went crimson. Yes, mosquito. Jungkook, who had just entered, caught into his hands, tried to hide his smile. Bong pouting, I'll protect you from mosquito next time. Taehyung pulled him into a hug, laughing softly. Taehyung, thank you, Bong. You are my hero. Jungkook walked over, resting a hand on both their shoulders. Jungkook, we are always protect each other. That's what family does. Bong looked up, both of them, then smiled brightly. Bong, then we are a family now. Taehyung heart swallowed. He glanced at Jungkook, who nodded firmly. Jungkook, yes, from now on, always. Bong clapping his hand happily and hugged them both. And just like that, the mansion no longer felt like a cold place. It felt like home, filled with laughs, warmth, and love.